Holy crap, that time just went so fast. Oh, do I not have volume?
No,
you do.
Oh, there we go.
No, we hear you.
I just don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, me neither. So
we're having a conversation in Ish about the game design. It was and it like started. I don't even remember how long ago, and then all of a sudden I'm getting a call. I'm like,
hold it. Stand up.
Yeah, I was like, oh, Ant is calling me so we can talk about it in person because it's easier than text. But no, it was stand up.
Well, hello everybody.
Howdy,
hello,
Dirty.
Everybody.
Carl.
Howdy, Dirty.
Everybody.
Hear you. If you're talking, can't hear you.
Howdy, Dirty.
Everybody.
Hear you.
God,
If you're talking, can't
Oh,
hear you.
now we can hear you.
Okay.
You're good.
You're just a quiet boy.
No, I was muted, and then I turned on the stream, and I heard everything, and I was dying.
Ah.
Let's see. Checking out the stream real quick.
Oh yeah, I'll turn that on too.
Yep, sounds good. Muting.
And this morning is planning, not stand up, technically.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
Oh God, all the things.
You know, one or two.
All right. I don't know. How do you want to run this, Carl? Do you want to go through because you know context, or should I just dive in and we'll
just dive in?
Go to town. Okay.
Oh yeah, welcome back, Hans. By the way, hope you had a good time.
I did.
Yeah.
It was. It's always nice to go out to that camp. It's total disconnect for the most part, which is nice.
That sounds lovely.
It is. No, it totally is, and I get to see people I really only see there, which is always kind of fun. And I taught 5 new kids Magic, and we had about 3 drafts.
That's awesome.
So it was fun. Alrighty, so let's see. We have the sprint board itself, and let's go over here to Trello. And let's go to the sprint planning board as well. All right, so we got these 2. I wasn't around for retrospective, so I don't know how much we went through on the actual sprint board. Did we do a pass here yet, or should we do a pass here and then move on to the backlog?
We did a bit of a pass. I don't know if we did the most. I think
we did like a full sweep of that.
We did a full sweep of it. I just don't know if stuff changed after retro. Retro was midday, so.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it depends on how much work got done on Friday afternoon.
All right. So why don't we go through very quickly then and identify stuff that we're going to carry into the sprint as is. Do we want to size them down to what is remaining so that we have a more accurate? Go ahead.
Are we mods on the channel?
Yes.
Because okay, I'm gonna go ban that bot. Goodbye. Okay.
Nice.
Sorry.
Fruit strike from above.
Yeah.
All right. So do we want to go through and see what we're going to carry in and then resize for what's remaining just so that we have it accurate, or do we want to leave them on the original estimates and just carry them in?
I'm sorry. Can you say that one more time?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Do we want to run through the doing list and the release 3, what's remaining, and resize for what's remaining on the cards?
Okay.
So that we have an accurate idea, and then we just directly roll these into 4. Or do we want to leave them as they are and basically create a release 3 carryover with the original estimates, and just that way we have a segment between the 2? Any preference?
I'm fine with either one.
Okay. Why don't we go through and resize then? Anybody object to that? Okay. So let's run through doing the things that are still flying.
Sure.
As a player, I want the UI to represent the game functions clearly and easily, and also look cool, so that understanding what's going on, it feels thematically on point. So we have a bunch of stuff here. I know there's been some more conversations. This was a huge ticket that a lot of us were working on.
Yeah.
Where do people feel it is at this point? You want to talk through where we are, George? And
yeah, let me run through real quick just to make sure that there's nothing else that was already finished. Okay, so we never got to any of the celestial body stuff. We're almost finished with ship details. Then we have some arting up of captains, arting up of the ship details, and arting up of celestial bodies. So I believe the art for all of them, except for the celestial bodies, is in those. Well, we could reuse a bunch of the art. I believe.
We'll reuse. Yeah, we'll probably.
So I don't think we need Tyson. So yeah, the celestial body stuff. I don't think those are going to be nearly as difficult as the ship details. There's a little chunk left with ship details, and then your art stuff. So,
and then what about? So we were talking about needing the timeline added in and all of that. Did that get done last week?
We don't need the timeline.
Oh, okay. So we backed off.
Yeah. Well, we were gonna originally do. Where is it? Ships who aren't doing anything. I don't actually know if Will finished that or not before he left. Okay, cool.
Well, I don't think the art is done. I think the art is pretty crap. But
we'll have to come up with something for it. Okay.
But the button is there. The functionality is all there.
Okay. Cool. So we can just skin it.
Yes.
Awesome.
And that's not part of this task anyway.
Okay.
That's a different task, and they released 3 parts. So I guess I'll fit that task into doing then.
All right.
So how do we want to do it for this first one? This one that you.
So basically, we have some a few pieces of captain art to be created. We have one more system that needs to have basic skinning done, and then we probably have some polish and font work that's going to go into this. Yeah.
Yeah.
That seem right?
Yes. I think that sounds correct.
All right. So do we want to try and size?
Yeah.
All right. 2, 1.
Whoa. Everyone's the exact same.
Awesome.
That's crazy.
8s. So we're resizing to an 8. Okay. Great.
That was amazing.
As a player, I want clear indication of ships who aren't doing anything so I can assign them tasks. So this is partially done, it sounds like, but needs to be skinned.
Yeah.
Yes.
Correct?
Yep.
All right. So
I think it's still a 1.
Yeah, it's in there. Oh, it's in there already in the ticket.
Okay. All right.
It has a to-do list where functionality is crossed out and
there we go.
art is not.
Hello. All right. So we're going to leave this a 1.
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
All right. Balance pass on the game in its current state. The deceptively low 5.
Well, actually,
ready to do it yet.
Forever
that's the thing. Like, I don't think the size has ever changed. It's the what's it called? The not requirements. The what do you call it when something?
Criteria.
No, when something is needed to be done before you can do a task.
Blocked.
It's just basically blocked.
Blocking tasks from happening, but I don't think the size has ever changed.
Okay.
What?
Okay. All right, then. So we think we don't think it needs to be resized. We just think that there's a whole bunch of stuff blocking it that we've been doing.
Yes.
Yeah, there's only ever been like a tiny bit of work done on this task.
Okay. All right. Cool.
I mean, I think we actually, if we wrote down the goals of what it was originally, we have completed this card, which was to get the initial numbers.
That's what I thought.
So like,
okay, why don't we just kill this card then and just make another card at some point in the future for like funizing our
at
game.
any given day, you could say, "Hey, we need a balance pass on its current state."
Yeah.
Because we changed this rule, we changed this rule.
Then let's kill the card.
Because this was originally just get something in that allows us to play it and make it feel like a game. Didn't have to necessarily be fun. Just before it was like, hey, I can jump infinitely because I have so much fuel.
Yep.
Yeah.
So can we kill it?
I'm down for killing it.
Yep.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Because I think we have bigger fish to fry. All right.
I'll pretend that one's done with a check mark.
I mean, it
instead of
should be
dead.
done. I mean, that's why I don't think we should kill it. I think that should count as points.
Yeah.
Not that the points super matter.
Well, because I remember half a day with 3 people spent on a conversation around this thing, which is more than a 5.
That was,
that's
George
not
Will and I talking about. But we talked about more than that. Anyways, okay.
That's all right. As a ship, I have a captain so that players interact with a human-like game component instead of a cold, unfeeling ship in the void of space.
All we need is to replace Betty White.
So
we do have a faction. Ships have factions now.
Yeah.
Actual, real factions. They're there. They don't do anything, but they're there.
Okay, so
did you hook up the text?
Done?
The text isn't hooked up. You have it checked out. So again,
yeah, whoops.
Okay,
we can.
So we'll need
once
to do that.
you're done with that dialogue, I can hook that up. It's trivial.
Okay.
And so this is pretty much just the art piece that needs to go in for this then, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I think, probably 3. 3 is probably okay with that, unless somebody wants to resize. Okay. Let's move on. As an employee, I want a comms plan with drafted edited messages matched to a timeline for the itch.io launch week, which is these next 2 weeks. And Brandon has done a shed load of work on this. We have 2 things it looks like left in here: early playtesting ads and PR. Are these things that still need to be worked on?
Sorry, is that me? I saw Carl and it looked like Carl was about to speak, so I stopped.
3, 2, 1, go.
For the ad portion, I mean, I think that based on what we aligned on for the initial itch.io launch, I don't think we actually need to complete that yet.
Okay.
For the PR, I also don't think we need to complete that yet until like Steam.
Okay, so do we want to punt these then out of here, call this ticket done?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then when we need to build ads, we'll do a marketing ticket for building ads. We'll do a marketing ticket for PR.
Yeah, and they should be in the sprint preceding Steam launch.
Okay.
Like we should boot those down as stories to the that sprint, that one.
Okay. Move PR and marketing ads to the Steam launch. Okay. Save. Boink. Actually, should I move this to validate? And in the marketing meeting later today, we review the stuff that you've put together for these?
Yeah, let's do that actually. The marketing meeting should be, truck.
Oh, tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah. So we can do that tomorrow.
Okay, so we'll
and
move
I think
that
it'll be
into
good validation. Yeah, because
Okay.
we have did a lot of work on Saturday with Sam.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah. So let's drop that in validate, and then we can get everybody up to speed and get feedback on Tuesday. All right. Public development game design show week 31. Podcast edited, RSS feed updated is what's left.
That is.
That was the one where I'm like, let's just use.
We decided to do video content instead of podcast content. Yep. Yeah, for the on the interim.
So podcast edited is still applicable, except that it's video edited.
It's not video edited because, well, it was never captured to work like a video. But I guess I can.
So is this technically done?
It's more like we should just kill it because it wasn't completed.
Death from above. All right. So archive, delete. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Archive, delete. As a player, I want to know that factions are an important part of our game so that I understand the long-term feel of the game. We have rewrite event text, stub in, faction, will remember. And you have some additional definitions of done that are not marked yet.
I mean, this is still, I think, kind of where it's at. It kind of got pulled in as I came back.
Okay. So. Story points of 3. Does that still feel accurate, or do we need to resize?
I think a resize is in order, to be honest.
I think some of these are, well, so really only one is pretty big.
So right now, Carl is the champion of this. Carl, do you want to talk through the expectations here, and then we'll resize?
This was just getting basic. Like this was originally faking out a bunch of faction interactions. I think we're going deeper with factions now, and so I'm not sure how relevant a lot of the stuff we had left are. I do think that we probably need to add some dubers / like notification text of like your interactions with factions, so that it's clear when you're having an effect on them, whether that is a real effect or we're just faking it for players. I think that would probably be the main thing we have left. But having factions on ships, having factions be present, and all that kind of stuff, I think already satisfies a lot of this. So the only thing that I would think is left is how much we want to fake or put in the, such and such faction will remember this effectively.
So one of the first thing on the checklist is rewrite event text. Does that still need to be done? Do we need to go through and groom through all of the current events and make sure that they are they contain faction language?
Yes.
How high of a priority is that? That's the thing. Because yes, it needs to be done, but what's the priority on it?
Yep.
I mean, I don't think it's critical.
Okay.
I think I don't think it's critical. We need to do it, and any new events we write should be in the new format. And we should be making sure that the event UI, as we get it more fully fleshed out, is supportive of what we want to do. But do we need to drop everything right now and rewrite the 4 events we have inside the game? No.
So do we feel that the work that is going to be planned, because I wasn't here for like kind of grooming and going through stuff. So do we feel that the work that is emerging for doing factions will fulfill enough of this that we remove this and we do it as part of developing that system? Or do we feel like we need this call to action to go in and smooth before we do the playtest release?
I think it can wait.
Okay. So do we want to preserve this card, or do we want to do it as emergent on those systems?
Emergent on those
systems.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's call this for what has been done so far, because we did get in the faction summary screen, right? So we will call leaving the rest to emergent work on the game systems. Moving to done. All right. Okay. Then we got a bunch of stuff left in release 3. A bunch of these are mine because I was in UI land and did not get the rest of my work done.
Sorry.
I'm a bad kid. No, don't be sorry. It was good. It was good to get in and get that work done. But I overcommitted in this last sprint by a mile because I had 3 days out at the end of the sprint. I thought I was going to get more in. So as a web dev, I need content for Ish website and pages. I need to go through and sort of just drive this stuff. I think the vast majority of it will actually go fairly quickly. I think I probably have let's go through real quick, and I'll put myself through the same diligence I'm forcing everybody else to. Okay, so we have certain things on here that probably won't clear. So let's go through and talk about those. So I have, like, for example, preview video for the website. Do we have any drive or any cards that are driving an actual preview video for the game itself that we think will come out in this next sprint?
I have ideas around stuff I want to do. Whether or not we'll have the pieces in place where we can actually record and make it, I don't know. But I'm working on it possible and all that.
Okay. Is it possible for us to just maybe work with Tyson to do a quick After Effects like literally like 15-second coming soon kind of trailer that we can just sync up there.
Yeah,
so we don't invest a lot of time, but we have something that we can put a placeholder in.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to change the name of this then to, and let's talk about it when we're doing the sizing for this next thing. So preview placeholder video. All right. 6 screenshots. I think we'll be far enough with UI that we should be able to capture some screenshots that have a little bit more interest in the sprint. So I think we're good there. Survivors number, count up, count down. I can fake those. One is already faked. So I don't think that will be difficult. We need to do a pass on support. Brandon, you and I can go through. You've already prepared most of that stuff. I just need to sync with you and update the text, and I think we're good. Events, we already got that updated. Press, we need to go through. The press piece is blocked by another ticket, which is the PR assets, but those we should be able to get through most this week. Legal review is still under process. I need to check in. She's waiting for me on some stuff for terms of service. But for the privacy policy stuff, I think she's done most of what she's going to do at this point. So I'll loop up with her. So I don't think that that's too much of a problem. Contact us. I think we're good. So I think this basically seems like we're blocked by a couple things. And we have a couple pages that need to be updated. And we have some screenshots to generate. You guys ready to size? 3, 2, 1. We got a 5, a 5, a 3, and a 3. I'll go with the 5 just because the blocking things may drag out. I think you're probably right there, so we'll leave it at a 5. As an employee, I want a clear understanding of how we'll add sound and music to the game. We've talked this to death back and forth. I think the decision we've made right now is that we're going to be going with your friend Carl for music, and that we're going to be going with Unreal Store for sound effects for right now. I need to follow. Do we want to go in and actually try and do a sound inventory and a schedule for this, or do we want to just go emergent?
For sound stuff, I mean, we should do a sound pass internally and figure that out. I don't know how high priority it is, but like we can get whatever in sort of emergently, but then I think there's a cohesiveness pass that we need to do, and for stuff that we haven't gone back through and implemented yet. For the music, he actually already has something over to us. We just need to figure out how to actually implement it.
Okay.
So Anthony,
so I'm going to kill this ticket then.
Yeah.
And then as we start talking about
doing it, but yes.
We should complete it. What do we feel needs to be completed?
No, I mean you should drag it into done.
Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, not delete it. I'm marking it complete, and then we'll deal with the other pieces as part of normal planning.
Yep.
Okay. PR assets, we know that one. We love that one. I haven't made any progress on it yet. I honestly don't think it's going to be that much time. It's literally just taking the time.
Yeah.
I am okay leaving this at a 5. Does anyone feel like we need to resize this? It just hasn't moved. It's just sat. So, okay. Start to understand how we'll playtest ish and gather feedback so that I have confidence in our product. This one also stalled, working on other stuff, but I think we talked a lot about what we want out of this. I also think this is probably still a 5. Does anyone disagree? Okay, so we'll leave that as is. Public development production show, week 32. Planned, recorded, uploaded, all marked off.
It's on me.
Okay. Edited, released.
Credit. Yep.
It's marked as a 3. Do we still feel that that's a 3, or do we need to resize?
Yeah, I think it's probably time box should just be a 1 now.
Okay. All
right. I'm down with 1.
Deal. As a player, I want to start with a fixed seed of ships that feel different. Design start complete, design ship differences.
We kind of have done this a little bit already, but I would say that
isn't it sort of blocked by.
Yes, and the purpose of this card wasn't really just to design different stuff. It was design the stuff so that when you played the game, it would be. I feel like we could do the same thing we did to the original Balance Pass, because this is part of the original Balance Pass, or we can reword this card just to say I can have a starting fleet that's different, which currently is true. Like there was work done. Will did a whole bunch of work to get like abilities and things like that could make the ships feel different, and I did work to give them different starting stats and stuff. It's just I don't think they're in the right place. Yep. But they are in a place.
I'm changing the card then to, as a player, I can start with a fixed seed of ships that feel different, and we're calling it done.
I think that's perfectly fine.
Yep. All right. Okay, cool. So we got through those. This leaves us right now with 16 points and 12 points carrying over, which is not our best effort, but we know we've been overloading these last two sprints, and I own 15 points of that spillover. So let's go and jump into planning.
I have a question about the bugs column. We were putting things in the bugs column that weren't bugs, that are tasks. Do we want to talk about those at all?
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea then. I didn't. Oh, yeah, it looks like.
Because there's quite a few things that are not bugs in that column.
Yeah, let's do that. I'll share over. Boink.
Which means we're using the column wrong, but that's okay. Maybe we need another column that says emergent or
I think it's actually indicative of. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
It's indicative of the lack of process that we've had around our playtesting, but we finally hit that point where we need it. So we started taking notes in that bugs column.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were going to drop those kinds of things that were not bugs. I am sharing. Good. Into this column on the left here, the backlog. So this is where things that were not bugs were supposed to be added.
Okay.
Well,
Carl is making a noise.
So the what we started to do, and it actually there was a reasonable feeling there of right when we do playtest notes, basically, and this is both as a group playtest and individual playtest. What Will was dropping in there was this isn't a bug in the sense that something is broken and not working as intended. It's there is functionality missing that blocks us from playtesting effectively or blocks it from being feeling fun at all, right? Like these are minor playtest notes of like this system doesn't work at all or whatever, right?
So these are not actual features.
I think that is in there, but there's also stuff that is not that, which is, for example, the font crap card. That means we're looking at new fonts. That's just something we need to do. It doesn't block anything. It's just we have to do it. We have to figure out.
Right. So that card should then probably be in the backlog to get prioritized, where the others, like if they are honestly something that is blocking playtesting, then that is in a sense a bug, right?
Okay, so for instance, the tooltips converted to Unreal type, I would move that to ish bug backlog list. No, not bug backlog. Ish. How do I move that correctly?
You're going to move it to ish sprint planning backlog.
Ish.
And I'll move the font.
Oh, there it is.
Yep.
Okay. The things that are under.
We have fuel factory turned off, can't be turned on again. That sounds definitely like a bug.
Yeah.
We don't have any clear feedback for what happened with an exploit.
Sorry about that. We do now. Oh, no, we don't. No, never mind.
Still don't.
We don't.
Yeah, we don't have the pluses.
Oh, that would disappear.
Actually, no, an exploit you do get if you look at your resource area. You get the immediate resource change down there, but if you're not looking for it, you're never going to see it.
His thing was that's not clear feedback. That's like,
no, it is not clear. That's as much as we got though.
So why don't we move this into the backlog as well as something to do in the future as a feature?
Okay.
I think or does anyone disagree with that, or that makes sense?
I mean, I think Will would disagree with it. Like Will would say, like this is a thing that needs to be This is a small thing that needs to be pulled off and done in order for someone to reasonably play our game.
That's what I'm saying. It's a feature that we have to finish to be able to like give good feedback to the player.
So
it doesn't.
I think there's a definition difference here that
okay.
Where a backlog feature, something that is deeper, and something that is blocking for our next release, I think is what he's trying to get to, like an immediate feature. So this would be something that would be sorted to the top of a backlog, or we create a new class for this kind of I don't even know what to call it.
Yeah, I'm fine with either approach, but it doesn't seem like a bug.
I think we should start doing the playtest feedback cards that we used to do. And then we can just keep those as a part of the sprints.
So one way or another, this is something that's going to have to be prioritized work versus other work, right?
Yes.
Yes. So I think the definitional thing that I'm trying to get to is there are things that are similar to bugs in that they are triaged and that they jump to the front of the line that will not be strictly this code is broken and we need to go debugging. Right. And having that column and that class of things will, and to some degree I would argue is important, especially early on. And
so can we just label them priority 1 and drop them into a backlog so that those are the ones that we always put to the top and we prioritize those first and then everything else is following?
Sure.
Okay. So we're gonna consider this. We'll move this one over to sprint planning backlog, and we're gonna mark it. Let's do a label. Create new label. Red.
I'm trying to look up a word for that, and snag came up. I'm like, that's a cute word for it. It's a snag in our game.
Sounds so wholesome.
It's kind of like a blockage, but it doesn't technically block, but it blocks for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, for ops, we always just call them P1s. And that was basically just something that means they always sort to the top.
I'm going to call them snags.
Snags. Okay.
Snags from now. We got a snag in the code. It's cute.
It's kind of cute.
All right, so marked it P1, and I will sort it to the top of the backlog. Then we have Brandon's bugs, 9 of 15. Jesus Christ, Brandon.
They weren't bugs. So
they were snags.
They were observations, and some of which were contested by the team, and some of which were
okay. So we have 3 left in here. Let's see whether we want to promote them to cards and where we want them to live.
Those 3 are already in the top 3 are already in the UI card.
Oh, so we can just kill this.
They're being actively worked on in the UI card.
Yeah, we can just.
All right, so this goes away. Yep. Doop. All right. There's no other validation.
There was 3 more at the bottom.
Yeah, but they were. Let's see if they come back up again.
Okay.
Scannability button versus scanner. More collaboration on play pause. Brandon felt the play pause unintuitive.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That
one
arguing ensued.
We fought.
Okay, so we're gonna leave that as is. We'll see what comes up. Then we have 2 bugs. Fuel factory turned off, can't be turned on again, and should not be able to build second copy of installation. Those both still accurate?
Will said he fixed the thing or you couldn't build the multiples of the same.
Okay, so we'll put it validate.
Yeah, I think he posted that he fixed, or at least it came through as a.
Oh, I missed.
So let's move it to validate. See if we can do it. If we need to move it back, we will. Okay. So
there it is.
So in the backlog, things that were added to the backlog. Let's identify what's P1 and what's not. As an ish web visitor, I want time since last update to reflect time since last build, not since last news post. That's definitely not a P1. As an ish web visitor, I want survivors remaining to say fleet census in progress until we have a better understanding of what to do here. That's easy, and I will make that as part of the others. So we'll leave that prioritized up. As an ish web visitor, I want survivors remaining to be a randomized number. Like the game, eventually something calculated. How do these two?
Oh, sorry. I wanted to do the first one, not the second one. Sorry. I made this one to replace this one, and then I forgot to delete it.
Okay, deleting. Die. Then we have tooltips converted to Unreal type from global tooltip type.
Yep.
Is this a P1 or is this normal priority?
So
speak to us, George, about your wisdom of Unreal tooltip.
Okay, here's the thing. That's a really tough question because ultimately we're going to want to do this, but I don't think I think there's other things that are just higher priority. Like this will get done. It's just there's so many other things that are so much more important right now that I think it's fine to just leave. It's in a half and half state, which is awful. Like some of them use.
I would say that this can happen after the rest of the UI pass.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And George, can you walk me through the details of this at some point so I know which one to be making in the future so that I'm not contributing to the
problem? Sure. I don't think it's going to be that big of a problem. We just have to. I don't know. I mean, it's not actually that much work, but even still, it's just still not a high priority.
Okay. So we're going to leave it in the backlog, and at some point we will groom it into a release.
Yeah. I don't think you have to spend mental space worrying about whether or not you're contributing to the problem, because even if you do everything else in the old way, it's still not that much work to convert them.
Okay. All right.
So.
Font crap. Is this a P1? I kind of feel like a consistency pass, and having the variations actually is something that we want to have for doing the final UI pass.
Yeah, there's two concerns there's two concerns with font right now. One is the two fonts that we've selected have no bold, italics, or other kinds of variations. And the second one is that neither of them reads particularly well at a small font, so they're terrible for body text.
Okay.
So we probably want to pick.
And
I think we Go ahead.
And the third thing that I mentioned to Tyson is that, like, when I was looking at his ship info screen UI UX thing, I realized that part of the thing that bothers me about the font he was using in there is that the O's and the C's are actually this sounds stupid, but are too round compared to the overall UI like angularness, and they draw my, like, when he had a thing called focus or something labeled focus or something like that, and my eye just kept going right to it and feeling like it was wrong.
It is focus. See, it was focus.
And so I think we also need to just potentially do another pass on that, as well as finding a font for those specific things that feels more in line with the UI we have.
So I think that this is definitely a feature and a pass. I don't feel it's a P1 though. No. So we'll leave it prioritized in the backlog as a normal.
Yep.
It is probably higher than the web. No, I'm going to leave I'd rather have the web visitor census thing above that, just because that's like 3 seconds. So, all right. Okay, cool. So we have then release 4. And we have some of this sized already. Fantastic. As a player, I want the celestial bodies I encounter in systems to feel diverse and have... Oh, Carl, before I do this, did you go through and stack rank this?
No.
Okay, so...
Do you want to do that real quick?
Why don't we do that real quick? Let's go through, and in your mind, let's, as a product owner, maybe you and Ant have secret messages and figure out like who gets priority with what should be on top. I want to play theme music when this happens, like Jeopardy. Or
Tetris.
Oh, we need that at the top.
Boom, Tetris.
What's that, Brandon?
No, I just said boom Tetris.
Oh.
Just memeing.
First, I thought you said that wasn't Tetris, and I was thinking, I'm like, yes, it was. Was it? It was, right? That was the Tetris song.
Sounded like it.
Or Dr. Mario. That's a good song too. Both of them, Fever and Chill. Oh man, I want to listen to the Dr. Mario remix now while they're doing this. Oh, that's really loud. Oh my god. Can't make it.
Okay, I think it's mostly stacked at this
point. Okay. All right, let's go through and take a look. As a patron contributor, I want access to the nightly builds. And let's see. So let's talk a little bit about what this means.
Yeah, I mean, part of it is I just want to clear the Patreon stuff, just so that's clear and out of the way. We have nightly builds happening. We have a Patreon tier that gets access to those, and so we just need to have it where we have some mechanism by which they can get in there and see them if they are the appropriate tier. If we want to run that through Discord, fine. If we want to run that through another way that also works better, that's fine too. But basically, if they're a Patreon and
I think
go ahead.
This might already be mostly done.
I think
so. Let's just we'll put in verify the path to access for Patreon members. And that's of the right tier, correct? There's lower tiers.
Yes.
Yes. Of the correct tiers. All right. I think the vast majority of this work is done. I think literally we need to go in and just make sure that the work I did on the itch side, and then we go into the Patreon side and then tie the two together, and I think we're done. But that's probably you and I testing it and figuring out how we test tiered access on the Patreon side, which I don't have any view in. So you want to size it?
Yep.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. 2s. You okay with the 2, Carl?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Will is starting fights in chat, by the way.
Will is? Oh, I'm after that.
Will. Oh, Banana Yummy. Banana Yummy's rating us. Oh my gosh, Banana Yummy 999. I remember you. Geese George. What's Geese George? George.
I don't know.
I'll goose you if you want.
Make loud noises.
Excuse me.
All right. Okay. As a player, I want my unique galaxy created at game start.
Mm-hmm.
So, what does this actually mean?
It means we create all of the planets and seed everything from the start and where jumps to where and all that stuff, so that you can have a seed of a planet and you can have a seed of a galaxy and give it to someone else and they can play through the exact same galaxy, but play through it a different way.
I think this is also a piece of what we need to do long range scanning in the way that we want to do it from the outset versus randomly generating it when you long range scan, which I don't want to do.
Yep.
Create all planets.
Is it a 3?
Paths.
I think it's a 3. I don't think it's actually that hard to.
So create all planets, paths. Does that also include what resources exist on all of these planets?
I mean, yeah, it would be creating the systems. It would just be running that and storing it.
Right. That's not hard at all. Like we already have the thing for doing it for the system you jump into. We just pre-do it ahead of time and store it.
So, and store it in memory.
Yeah. Actually, Anthony, is there any concern with making that many actors up front? Because right now we store it on the actors themselves. So I guess we would probably want to only store it as data.
We probably want to refactor because it should just be data. That then the actors can be spawned from that data.
Yeah.
So if it's not that way, then that could make this card more.
Yeah, I was gonna say right now it goes directly onto the planet actors themselves.
Right. Create all planets, paths, and resources. Only the data. Only the data, not the actors.
And then refactor the system generation to account for data instead of actors.
Doing it itself.
Yeah.
Okay. Refactor system generation to work with data instead of actors.
Yeah.
Let's see what else.
That still shouldn't be too hard. I guess we don't need to resize it.
Is there anything we need to think of here in terms of future work for serialization, or?
I don't think this has to deal with serialization, but we may want to think about adding something to the main menu to allow you to pick that seed.
Okay. Seeds.
The reason I say that is because I feel like that's going to be really helpful for testing in the future too.
Yeah, that's
just
true.
to call it out specifically.
Yeah.
We need to validate that seeds are always the same. They always generate the same data. That's part of done here, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see how they wouldn't, but sure. We need to validate it. You're right.
Validate it. Like that's a seriously.
That's kind of part of the test, or part of the whole task.
Right. I'm just trying to get an idea of what's done here, because
I think that's good. Let's call it out.
And the third jump to this planet doesn't have the same resources on that planet. That's a problem.
Yeah. Unreal has built-in seed random, right?
You can seed the random generator and hold it.
We need to have a conversation, by the way, at some, like, it doesn't matter how we do it now, but this is something I've said before. At some point we need to have a conversation about exactly what is randomized and how, because we need to decide as a team how much we care about various kinds of, like saving and then reloading, because now you know everything the seed told you, versus no, actually some things actually still are random during seeds, etc. Whatever. It's like we should have that conversation at some point.
Well, that's why I also kind of I want to get clarity about what are the things that we are generating up front. I mean, because that's kind of part of this card, isn't it? Or or do you guys feel like it's something that we can just do these few things and then extend them later as needed?
I do not think we have to do anything in this card that pertains to that conversation, because for right now, it will just be the seed defines it, period.
Yep.
The conversation of whether we allow that to happen in the future is what we'll have, because I think there's ways around it, but I don't want to get into those implementation things right now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Then this is easier than it was sounding to me. I was just feeling skeptical. All right. Okay, so, and that didn't do what I meant to do. All right. Planets, paths.
Oh, this next card, Dubers, fixes the thing that Will had in the backlog.
Pretty much.
So we can delete the backlog one, because this is exactly.
Okay, go for it.
It does that like super exactly. Yeah. Okay, I'll delete it.
All right, so we still feel that's a 3 then? We don't need to resize? Player, I want my unique galaxy.
I think so.
Anyone disagree?
I don't know.
It's probably a 3.
Like, I could see maybe going up to a 5, but
okay.
I feel like
a lot of the work is done. It's just that data piece. That's
Okay. As a player, I want Dubers to really clearly draw my attention. We still feel that's a 2. Yeah. Anything we want to add specific about this in difference? No?
I don't know if that's a 2, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, because it's like, think of all the different places you could get resources from. And like, what happens when the planets are off screen? I know you can just pop it off the side and stuff, but it feels like there's enough edge cases that a 2 feels kind of small to me. I might be wrong though.
This card is not, I think, about those specific implementations and edge cases. It is literally just the act of popping these numbers on screen where we want them. And then we'll have to probably...
Because this is just about getting the pop-ups, right?
Yeah, basically.
So this is
more... But then there's a lot... Like, Georgia, there is edge cases here, and we'll have to figure that out, but I don't think it's part of the doobers themselves.
So I think we need to rewrite the card then. As an engineer, I want the ability to pop doobers to clearly draw my attention, not as a player. Because as a player implies to me that it's built throughout the game everywhere we'd want it.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good.
I could see that. We should have the system, and there's going to be weird edge cases, and we're going to have to work through.
Right. And I would see that as the player card. And we may not even need it. It may just be emergent. But so I'm changing it to, as an engineer, I want the ability to use doobers to really clearly draw my attention to what and when resources have changed. And at that, I think everybody's probably comfortable with it as a 2, yeah?
Sure.
Okay. As a player, I want to see events pertaining to the new systems that have been implemented in this release so that it is cool.
I mean, it's pretty...
content creation card, write events, and
add.
We start at the playtesting them. I don't really get what this is. I mean, I kind of do.
This is a time-boxed content creation for events.
Okay. One of the things that we were talking about, though, is actually I'm having second thoughts, because one of the things that we had talked about is getting all the core systems in and pushing content creation till after the core systems were in. This probably needs to move down, and I don't think we actually have the cards for long-range scanning and any more of the faction stuff we want to do, unless they're in later releases like Hand Wavy. So this should probably move down in priority. I'm gonna go and do that
next
now.
sprint.
No, I'm just gonna move it down in priority for now.
Okay. And see what we need.
And we'll revisit it when we get there.
Yeah.
Okay. As an engineer, blah, blah, blah. As a player, I would like to quit whenever I need to turn off the game without using Alt F4. You are biased against Alt F4.
That's going to be really easy.
Say that. We just need a place to put a menu. Yeah. Actually, it's kind of tied to the one below it, which has the options menu. We should be able to bring up the options menu in the middle of the game. And on that options menu, you should have a way to quit.
Yeah, so I'm going to put, as a player, I need to have main menu and general video game options above this one. And then one of those options ends up being quit, right?
Yeah,
can we just merge these two cards then? Like video, audio, game / quit options. Like right there. I just changed the title. And that kind of merges them.
1 second. Available video options. Need to have a main menu and general options available. There, as well as in game.
Cool. So we can kill the next card?
Yeah.
Cool. Delete. Okay. As a company, I would like a public early access build on itch.io.
We don't have this yet? Oh, no, early access.
Depends on what this means.
Yeah, never mind. That was a dumb question.
So I'm assuming the differentiator here is the word public. And AKA, is this the actual launch of a build that people outside of the company have the ability to navigate to?
Yes.
Or is this physical?
Oh, sorry. This is just making sure that we have the thing set up. I think that this card is kicked around for a while. Yeah, it's the thing that we potentially already have done.
Yep, that card is done. I get nightlies are pushed every day to the the Patreon page, and then anytime we manually kick off what we consider our release, those push to the release project. So
Cool.
This card is done.
Yeah, I think this was just kicking around for a while.
No problem. I'm going to mark this one as I'm just going to delete this one. You okay with that?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Bow. As a player, I would like to easily identify the ish executable with an icon and or less garbage in the folder. Yeah. So we should talk about what this one really means. So I think this consists, in my mind, this consists of a few different things. One is Jenkins' work to groom out unneeded files and folders. Two is a game icon. Yeah?
Yep.
Three, we probably want to do like a README or some kind of included file about, hey, how to give playtest feedback and this, that, and the other thing. Yeah?
Okay.
Yes, no.
Yeah, that seems good.
Okay, README. Okay. Anything else? So it's one piece of art, some work on Jenkins, and creating a README file with the appropriate stuff for somebody who is pulling down this game and installing it. Yeah?
That sounds good.
Okay. Ant? Oh, yes, Ant is moving. Okay. You were staring intensely, so I thought you were frozen.
No, I'm free.
Okay. That was sized as a 2. That's, other than the creation of the icon, I would say that is probably on. Are we going to have Tyson work on the icon? Oh, Carl's not there. Oh, there he is. We're going to have Tyson work on the game icon, do you think?
We can't hear you, Carl.
Yeah, Carl, if you're talking, you're muted.
Yes, Tyson will work on the thing.
Okay. Do we think we need to resize this then at a 2?
No, because I think he'll bang it out.
Okay. All right. We'll leave it as 2.
And I mean,
as an employee,
it's not like we need a perfect icon. It's just we need something.
Yeah. Yep. Planet, compass, go. As an employee, I want a clear guide to how to have a consistent voice when we talk about ish GBG, so that I have more confidence when helping market our game. Do we need more of a definition of what this is, or do we feel like we all understand that?
I think it's just a document that has some easy language to pull from and some clear guidelines around talking about it. And I think we just add to it as people are like, when we notice people are like, hey, I don't feel comfortable about this, or how do I say this, or what am I allowed to say about that?
Yeah.
We'll just add to it over time, and I think we have a lot of the stuff we need after working with Sam this weekend, and a lot of the text that Brandon's generated. Like, this should be, it's just collating the document into something that, like, as an example, George feels like, oh, if I have a question about what to say, I can look at this and I have my answers.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
We still feel it's a 3?
I think it'll be like translating that into an internal FAQ.
Yep.
Because we already have an external FAQ written up.
Okay.
And then we'll just talk about how we discuss more sensitive things like runway and things that we might get questions that, we want to have a consistent voice around. So yeah, I think a 3 is still fine on my side. Are you okay with that, Carl?
Yep. Yeah, because I think it'll be some back and forth with the team, but not like a lot where it should increase the point value, but it's like it's more than a 1, right?
Yeah.
Just because of the running through it with people.
Okay. So we leave it or we
Yep.
change it?
Leave it.
Leave it. All right. As a playtester, I would like a debug menu with cheats and modifiers so that I can easily set the state of the game appropriate to how I want to test it. So as an internal playtester, not as a public playtester.
Actually, it probably should say as a developer.
As a developer, yeah. Okay. I think that's probably, I would rather.
I would not mind elevating some of our playtesters to have that kind of a build, though, especially if they prove to be, awesome and trustworthy and stuff.
Yeah, I don't think there's a problem with that. But the goal here is that it is developer. This is purely to create the menu, not to implement cheats, right?
It probably would have the cheats we already have, but yeah.
Okay, I'm just trying to make sure that the development is about exposing the menu, not about implementing cheats.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we need to have some of the cheats we already have in there.
That second part says I can easily set the state of the game appropriate how I want.
That's
that's implying that this has things on it that actually are there too.
Like
that's exactly why I'm asking, because the size is very different.
For example, I would think that the event, what is the thing that Will made called the event
tester.
Something? The event tester would be something where we just have an opening on this cheat menu where you type in the name of an event and bam, it fires the event, just like the event tester does. Stuff like that.
Right. So what I'm getting to here is, do we need to go through and talk about all the features that are required to make this done?
Let's do that then.
Okay. Because
I think that's smart.
Big difference on the size. So, all right. So we need an event tester.
Event tester for sure.
Okay.
We probably want a resource changer. So something with a drop down with each resource type, and then a field where you can enter a number and it changes it by that amount.
Okay. So resource modification.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do we need something that allows us to go to a certain jump or a certain tree so that you can test that jump?
Actually, I think those are the only two things we need right now.
Okay.
And we can just add as we go forward. What do you think, Ant?
It's that there's probably one on there that you can just say, hey, just a button that instantly scans everything in the system.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Just so you can make sure everything's there, it's properly there.
Instant complete
system
long-range scan.
Yeah, dude, we could just have, we could put a copy of the instant scan ability into that menu.
Yeah.
And it just has unlimited ammo. So yeah, I like the instant scan, and for that matter, let's do instant exploit too, because that will be an easy thing to do. Those things will really dramatically speed up some kinds of testing that we want to do.
Okay, so event tester, resource modification, instant complete long-range scan, and instant exploit.
Yep. Is morale a resource bucket?
It is.
Okay, perfect.
You probably we can just use the resource changer to change that.
Yep.
All right. So if we're talking about building a menu and implementing those 4, do we feel like we're ready to size?
Sure.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Whoa, we're on the same page today with everything. That's the third one we've done where everyone's been the same.
All right, 5 it is. As an employee, I want to see our metrics on players playing our game. Ah! Sorry.
Oh, jeez.
Can we add the to that?
Yes. And without
we have story points for it.
It's big. At 13, it's still 13.
Do we need it this game? Do we need it this release?
Are we starting play testing?
If we're gonna have people playing the game outside of this team, yes, we do.
Okay.
To be honest, we probably shouldn't have people play testing our game until we have this.
Yeah. I know. Okay. Cool. As a player, I want to.
You just made a noise that was identical to a parent who has just observed their child doing something they shouldn't do, but they're old enough now to where you can't really lay down the law.
Yep. Welcome to my life. Okay. As a player, I want to see the public roadmap for Ish and be able to provide feedback. So we don't have a size on this yet. So this is going to be having the public Trello some form of release level info for epics. I'm going to put epics in quotes because we're not really working in epics, but we're going to create thematic epics that will represent there. Define the process for creating, updating, and expectations around the public roadmap. All right, so I have on here populate public Trello. Some form of release level info for epics. Define the process for creating, updating, and the expectations around the public roadmap.
Yep. The one task to add there that sadly will probably make this a little bit bigger, but we need as a separate pass. We can have it separate from the other content, but do a art pass on it to make the board not just feel like.
Oh yeah, sure. Text. Okay. We'll do populate public Trello and theme public Trello, which may require us to become an actual purchasing member of Trello.
Potentially, but like I'm just talking about like some almost like banner art that we can use to make cards not just be like you just add an image to the card basically, which you can already do, and it shows up inline in the column.
Yeah. All right. So I'll leave it as theme public Trello, but we'll need to go through what that means and what we're willing to do. So.
Yep.
Okay. We have not sized this. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm ready to size it. Everybody ready?
Yep.
Oh yeah, I'm staring at Twitch. That's why everybody's so delayed. 3, 2, 1. 8. Interesting.
3, 5.
I had no idea for this one. Yeah.
I can come down to 3 or 5. I might be overestimating my
I think
I might be underestimating.
Yeah, I think that there may be potentially a lot of work about. I'm probably underestimating because I think there's more work around the release level info for epics, what they are and what they represent, and how do we communicate that. There's actually a marketing bent to it that I wasn't really thinking about. And there's probably a longer arcing planning meeting that is required for this. So
that I think we actually have already done. Like we did a big planning meeting that we did longer term releases. Like if you scroll to the right on this thing, like we actually have much more definition around this that I think basically flows into it pretty well. It's just how we communicate that, like how we set expectations, all that kind of stuff. Like I think that the first pass on this is going to be relatively easy, and then there's going to be a bunch of marketing negotiation stuff we do.
Okay. All right, let's put it at 5, and we'll move from there. Cool with that, Carl?
Yep.
As a player, I want to be able to submit bugs and know the status. So this one is... I want to change this to as a developer or as an employee, I want to understand the bug submit process and what is important to us or something along those lines. And then there's an implementation portion because I feel like we have a lot of ideas around what this is, but I don't think we can actually say, what does it take to implement it yet? Because we haven't actually clarified it. The playtest ticket that I let slip into this release, I feels like a precursor for this. It's blocking. What do you think?
I agree. I think this is the second part of a conversation that we had around what we want to do with our Discord.
Yeah.
And
well,
I think it is.
Again, I think there's it's beyond necessarily the conversation about Discord. It's like, what are the expectations about external bug requests and what kind of information we're delivering and how, and then how we're tracking bugs. Because like the idea of us tracking bugs in Discord is probably untenable. It might work for the first week or two, but if we do get any traction, we're going to want to have some idea of where we're going to go with that.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you guys think about this? Actually, maybe we leave this as is and we do a time box on it, and we basically implement what we can out of that other conversation in that time box, with the idea that we then build out cards for any extended functionality we want in the future. Does that make sense to folks?
I agree. I mean, I think we just need to accept that we only need a solution for 50 people at first.
Right.
And then just go from there and just make
right.
sure that
which I think is fair. But if we have, say, 25 of those people submit 3 bugs each, and we have 75 bugs that sit in a Discord channel, that's going to be pretty ugly. You know, particularly if there's a bunch of dupes and shit. Like, how do we, are we scrolling up and down? I don't know. We just need to talk through it. So are you guys comfortable with time boxing like a 3 implementation for the bugs for the initial release based on what we discuss, and then we can figure out in future releases how do we make this thing scalable, because we won't get a lot of traction the first few releases.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
Let's just time box it at 3, and then we'll inform this story out of the other one that I let slide. Okay. As a player, I would like to see the credits for who has worked on In Search of a Home somewhere in game and on the website, so that I can appreciate these folks.
It's pretty easy to put something, a little credits thing in the game, like from the options menu. Like,
especially if we have the main menu already.
Right. Yeah, that's not hard in game, and then I assume the website's not hard to put a list of names.
In fact, actually, what we should do is we should probably put it in the JSON and just have it read the list from the JSON and spit it out.
Yep.
Just to text it, because then literally anyone can go in and change the credits. Like, did you get a friend to playtest? Go add their name in the playtester section.
Yeah.
So gather current names, put on website, put in game.
Yep.
Those are the basic things. 3, 2, 1.
I say.
Really, a 3?
Because it's only 2. It's 2 places.
I put in a 3 basically because gathering the current names, figuring out who are all the people that we want to have in there and what that level is. I still don't think that's even close to a 3. It's fair.
Because everyone can go in and just like, you could say, I made the place, put the names of the people that helped you in here. Like, that could be a message we put on.
That's totally fair, but I'm just saying, like, up to now, we've had a certain number of people who have helped us as a company, and we need to gather those names into a list. Who are they? It's reaching back retrospectively and saying, who are the people that have helped us, and who do we want to acknowledge? I just feel like it's going to take time.
Carl's name is on it, and it'll be a 2 at most.
Okay. People disagree. That's cool.
I think 2 is fine.
Okay.
I think it's a 0. We ain't thanking nobody.
I was figuring you were saying it's a 0 because you don't value my time.
Oh, I wish I had thought of that. That's really good, Carl.
As an employee, I want to see.
Isn't it?
What? A dupe?
This is a dupe.
No, I think this is a deeper piece, where the previous one would be like, hey, there's a place in a framework where I can go and see how many games are being played, so on and so forth. Yeah. Where this is a next layer of like, this person had this much population when this game had much population. It's this much population on average at the end of the game. They generally die by food, or this is an even
Yeah,
this is about triaging problems and balancing the game.
Yeah, the first one is more about setting up the system so that we can get metrics back and implementing baseline metrics. This one is more about like, okay, what is actually useful in creating the dashboard and any additional metrics we need.
I would push this off to another release.
I agree.
Because we should get the core system loop in and then do this.
I feel like it's changing tires while the car's driving. If we
pretty much.
And I could absolutely see as the other process we get one or two of these things in.
Yeah.
Like, but it's not a comprehensive, hey, I can go and like tune the game by looking at these stats.
Sure. Bump it to 5.
Blah blah blah. As a player, I want to launch the game from itch.io without a security warning. So, what do people think about this? The only hesitation I have is that this is actually like purchasing a signing certificate and going through the process. Do people generally feel like we're going to have a problem with playtesters if it gives a warning when they launch the game? We're not asking the general public to come and play this game yet.
I feel like it's what, $300?
Yeah, we could get as low as $300-400 for a year signing certificate.
I kind of feel like we just do it. We're gonna need to do it before we go wider. We're gonna need to do it before we go to Steam.
Okay.
So just.
Has anyone done this in Unreal?
Nope.
Okay. So if we're gonna do it, I would like to bump this up a little bit in terms of cost to at least a 3, because we're going to need to figure out how crypto works within Unreal and then implement it in Jenkins. I think it'll be straightforward. I don't think it's like a 5 or anything, but that is me literally just going, they can't make this hard, right?
Sure. I'm fine bumping it to a 3.
Is everybody okay with going to a 3 on this?
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, I'm downloading like another list of popular, like, went to itch, popular games on itch.
Yeah.
Downloading one of their things. I'm like,
that's what I was going to do.
Does anyone actually do this? Does it really just pop warnings for me?
Yeah. The couple I pulled down, I had one that didn't. I had one that did. So see what your results look like. Start, look, and feel experimentation for space, planets, and ships.
This is the tech art stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think we do it.
What do you saying?
So this is how do we get our art style? Like this is how, like, using the models we have, potentially modifying textures, modifying our post-process stuff. How do we get the look and feel that I want for the in-game stuff? I have a tech artist, for X-Rider tech artist, who I can contract to do to help us with some of this work. I think that's probably worthwhile. I think, given that the style is something that I want to do pretty early on, and I think is an important thing. I would like us to do at this sprint. And so it's the back and forth with the tech artist, getting the style implemented into our game.
Carl, can you put your mic closer to your mouth?
Yeah, I agree.
I hate you. I hate all of you.
There we go.
Oh, well,
thank
we
you.
don't care. Oh, no.
I don't know why
so
my
the
mic
idea
is
is
all
that
over.
the goal here is basically we do a V.01 of the look and feel, figuring out where we drive it, either from materials, post-process, textures, yada, yada, yada. But basically get an idea, a flag planted about how do we create this look and feel. Yeah. And it's going to be done with a contractor predominantly, then Carl, you interacting with that contractor, and then probably a little bit of tag teaming with the team. as we're doing things or getting things integrated, right?
Yep.
Okay. And then we'll also need to get an account set up in assembler for them, which we have an extra account we can wire them on. Okay. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
I don't even know.
Yeah. I'm guessing.
Insane.
I agree. It's insane.
I guess it's the start. It's only starting. So
it's only starting. It's literally.
I will say an 8.
Yeah. And who is sizing to include the tech artist's work or our work? Is anybody including the tech artist work in that estimate?
I thought it was just ours.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because
I just want to make sure that's what everybody's doing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we're not estimating people who are on the team.
Right. I'm just verifying that is everyone's understanding. That's all I'm asking. So an 8. Okay. As a draconian supreme leader, I would like Ghostly Bear Games website that meets Tyson's new art look and feel. So I think we are.
I think some of the structures that we put on this is we do what is easy to do in Squarespace, not what necessarily he ideally did and all that kind of stuff. Hopefully some of this is pretty straightforward because it's also the PR assets that we already are theoretically working. It's just because like that's my biggest concern is having the Ghostly Bear Games website feel. Yeah.
I want to time box this to like. I would love to time box this to a 5. I think that may be. Yeah, I think I could do that.
Yeah, I think that's totally fine.
Okay, let's time box it to a 5. All right. As a potential playtester, I would like a video that gives me a cursory understanding of what Ish is about. Oh, interesting. I haven't seen this card.
That would be so useful. Okay, are we ready to?
Yeah, I think this is me and Brandon coming up with a script. One of us recording that script and getting some gameplay footage to go along with that script.
Yep, we can do that.
So script, record, gameplay footage, edit. Is this potential? No, never mind. All right, so writing a script, recording it, gameplay footage, and editing it. 3, 2, 1. Okay.
A 3, an 8, and 3 5s.
5 is fine.
Okay.
I trust Brandon on this more than my gut because he's been our
be a 5.
He's been our content maker.
It'll be a 5.
It'll be a 5.
It will be a 5.
I'm 100% convinced it's not an 8, but it'll be a 5, and definitely not a 3.
Brandon's my estimation is the best estimation.
As a player, I want the celestial bodies I encounter to feel diverse and have depth so that every system feels unique and worth exploring.
I feel like we kick the content creation stuff out to 5.
Yeah.
I think the next 3 cards we kick to release 5, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So when we were talking about stuff to pull in because we want the full game kind of loop going on.
Yep.
I think on this list on the faction expansion, we want overall faction reputations.
Are we actually filling those out now?
I mean, this is stuff we've been talking about getting this full loop in, and we're putting factions in. So
So do we want to create a checklist under here of what these mean and do those as subcards, or do you feel this is a single card overall faction reputation?
Faction reputations. I'm trying to think if we're probably not going to get abilities and passives in. That would be later.
I think I'm in the wrong place. What are you guys specifically looking at? Sorry.
It's the sprint planning board.
Yeah.
A column. There's the faction expansion column.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And then there's another one on here that we're going to look at. It's just the long range update. I don't think all this stuff from faction expansion comes across. It's the reputations come across, and I think just the approval resource in a bare form comes across.
Okay.
I think those are the two cards that come into here.
From these, do we want to create an initial card then that gets the foundation for these, or do you feel those whole cards come over?
That's what I was going to suggest. What you just said, Hans.
Which part? Build out new cards?
I think we add one card that lists out all the bare bones stuff that we want to do to complete the game loop from a faction expansion standpoint.
Yes, and then
And we should do the same for the long range. So, like, I think we should just make those two cards, because I think that the stuff will remain in the update as far as building it out further.
Yeah.
Initial long range.
Initial faction expansion and initial long range scanning. All right, so let's initial faction expansion. Do we have? You want to go through and create a checklist for? For those? Okay.
Yeah, I'll do the one for long range scanning if you want to do the faction one.
So
I just have some opinions on the long range scanning for the initial thing because
that's fine.
It needs to be doesn't need to be insanely deep.
So, Ant, why don't you go in and add a list of what you think the initial faction expansion looks like? George, you work on the long range scanning, and then both of you vet cross, and then we'll go through and create cards on size.
And Brandon too.
No.
Okay, never mind. Not Brandon. That's fine.
All right, I'm out. I've been confused.
What is it?
I like that. The way you said that. That was. Okay. I'm busy. Leave me alone. Let's see.
Hey, George.
Do
you like squirrels?
No. No, squirrels are demon rats in the trees.
Good to know.
Oh, before I forget, Carl, after this meeting, I'm going to walk over the mic to you.
Yay.
So I can lunch.
Cool. And then can you help me practice or set it up for Skype? Esper, calm down.
Can you hear my kids? You probably can hear my kids.
That's what it was. I thought there was kids outside here.
No, they're upstairs going crazy.
They're hilarious.
Bum, bum, bum. Stomp, stomp, stomp.
Okay, I'm done. Brandon, go look at long range scanning, if you don't mind.
Go look at long range scanning.
Yeah, over in the backlog column.
Oh, well. Hello,
all right.
Goodbye.
That should be it.
Okay, I'll take a look at yours too, Ant.
Long range scanning. Should X possible add installation.
Cool, that looks good to me.
Yep. Looks good to me.
So the one thing that I would say for a minimal way to do this, I think, is we may not have like on your first one, show next systems along jump path. I don't know how graphical we need to get with it per se.
It can be. Sorry. How about I say this then? Show list of systems
I would think,
you can jump to. That's how I envisioned it, but
okay.
It doesn't. I don't care if it's a graphic or a text list or
exactly.
anything.
And I think minimally it might just be a dialogue that has a couple choices. Scan systems will have preview. Yep, that looks good to me.
I'm fine with faction expansion exactly as it is. Is everyone done reviewing? Okay, I guess we're done. Hans, if you're talking, you're muted.
He is muted.
You actually have the Discord mute on.
Oh, bummer. Great. So what I was saying was I was asking if we wanted to do them in those cards or whether we wanted to break them out individually, which you already answered for me, George, which is why I thought I was not muted.
Oh, my bad.
No,
sorry.
It was just kind of funny. All right, so initial faction expansion. Ships have factions. Factions approval rating can go up and down based on player choice. Factions present quests. Lowest approval can lead to ship leaving. Lowest approval flagship faction can lead to game over. Story points for this then. 3, 2, 1.
It's a 5 or an 8. I'm kind of between.
I put a 13.
We have an 8, an 8, a 5, and a 3.
The reason I think it's so big is because there's content creation for the quests, which requires.
It's already
done. Oh, it's done?
Yeah, Brandon presented some basic ideas. It's not a lot of content. It's just at least something for one of the 5 factions.
Oh yeah, for the fleet stuff? Yeah, I read a bunch of stuff. It's not amazing. It's like all
no, that's awesome.
But it's
I
there.
thought we had to do that.
That's what's going to be implemented towards. And so,
are we okay with the 8 then, George?
Yeah, I'm down for the 8 then. That is totally cool.
I'm also down for the 8.
I think there's a lot of UI elements, but other than that,
I am going to reuse our generic things where needed.
That's where we need to be.
Oh, good. Carl left. Quick, let's party.
Quick. Long range scanning. Show list of systems you can jump to from this one. Add installation for long range scanning at any of them. Add ability to review data about systems along the path. Unscanned systems will have preview of system type. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Got an 8, an 8, a 5. Carl just randomly jumped in and said an 8.
Yeah.
And
I mean, he was.
Okay.
I think this is going to be easier than the faction quests because this is just designing the. We have to design up front the system types, kind of like we did for planets. But then once we do that, it's kind of like you just integrate it into what's been built at the beginning and have some connected paths, and then just show those in the list. I don't think that I think the UI is going to be easier, and I think the content is not very much at all. Like we might have like 3 or 4 system types, maybe. That's why I've really thought. I thought for sure it's easier than the other one, but the other one I also thought was a 13. So I don't know. I'm fine with an 8, but I do think 8 is kind of big.
So you really think the UI is going to be super straightforward on this?
I think it's going to be one of the easier UIs.
Interesting. Okay.
I think for this initial thing that we're talking about, I don't think it's a complicated one.
Yeah, I think it's a really easy UI. There's not even actors to deal with. Like you don't have to deal with any of the 3D space at all. It's all just 2D or text.
Okay.
So I don't think that's fine.
5, 8, 5, 8, 5, 8.
58?
58.
But I mean, we can just put 8 if we want.
I think the main reason why I would go with an 8 is because with the faction stuff, we've started to already think about it and do stuff with it. And even if the long range scanning, the initial system is easier, we've just done less thinking and touching it. And so I think it's going to we're going to have more emergent stuff that we need to think about as we put it in.
Okay, let me go through this real quick just to make sure everyone's on the same page with these 4 things.
This is
here's what I'm envisioning for long range scanning up front. Sorry, I just realized my camera's really dark because of the light. But what I'm envisioning is you have a long range scanner, which is an installation. I don't know what it's called. We'll call it like the wide range scanner, blah, 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 right?
You can just call it the long range scanner.
It gives you yes. I love it, Anthony. We'll give it an ability, which is extremely easy to do because we have 8 of them already that almost all do.
Abilities are actually pretty easy to create.
Yes. We make an ability. You press the ability. It opens up the little dialogue that says which one. You click which one. After X amount of time, the description changes from this is a system BY7 type that normally has this to it says we scanned the system and it has these planets. That data is already there because we already did the task from the random seed of creating the galaxy. And that's it. Like, it seems really easy to me. So, is there anything I'm missing there?
I think there's just more unknown here. Like, if we put an 8 and it ends up being a 5, like, hooray! Like, but I think we have just dealt with this a lot less, even just conceptually, and I think we're going to run into a bunch of stuff that we're like, oh, well, actually, we really need it to do this. Oh, well, actually, we want this to appear. Well, what's the timing and blah, blah. Like, there's just a bunch of stuff we're going to run into.
I mean, this is the question. Can you, like, the first question that comes to my mind, can you actually jump without having a system that you know that you, like, when you come into a system, do you auto know another system you can jump to immediately? Or does this part of the process of figuring out where you jump to next?
I think that's a conversation.
Exactly,
we should
that's a conversation we haven't had.
Let's just put an 8. It's fine.
It is. Okay, so Carl, can you sort initial faction expansion and initial long range scanning into the priority order of release 4?
Yes. Oh, Carl, you're the best. That's exactly right.
The remaining things in the backlog, do we feel these need to be within release 4? Fleet census in progress, font crap, tool tips.
Oh, wow. Did you just sort that up to the top, Carl?
I think it's trivial to figure out.
Yeah, I can't understand what you're saying because it keeps cutting out.
Yes, I did, because I think it's easy to figure out, and then we can just fix it.
Cool.
I would agree. Figuring out the font stuff right at the beginning, so as we're implementing all these new things and dialogues, we can just have the best practice.
Okay, let's size it then. So the deal is that right now we have... let me go down and grab...
And when are we grabbing the stuff from the old sprint and prioritizing that in here?
I'm assuming once we bring this over and we merge the two.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have the idea of getting an appropriate series of faces for Nicholson Gothic, Orator, and Spinnaker, and potentially finding
another
body.
Yeah. Well, so we need to find a body font.
The unfortunate thing with Nicholson Gothic, I don't think it has a bold or italic.
No. Gothic regular definitely doesn't. There may be other versions.
Just Nicholson Gothic, that font itself,
sure,
is only the regular.
Right. But we can probably find something that's similar and go that way. That's part of what this ticket is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we need to find fonts. We are currently missing a good body font. And the fonts that we have chosen, we like the overall style of. The problems we have is multiple styles, and there's the ones that we have chosen have they're too round and they don't jive with our UI.
So in other words, we need to define what fonts we want for the game. Done.
Yes.
All right.
That card is now real.
Yeah. So define final fonts for the game, and do a consistency pass.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to change this description to be find final fonts.
George, what are
What?
you doing?
I'm making myself Wolverine.
Style. Approval.
I had all these sharp pencils near me, so I was like, this is exactly the amount of same as Wolverine's claws.
Title font, headline.
It's good.
Multiple faces. Title font, headline, multiple faces, and body font.
I found a Nicholson Gothic bold. Finally, someone made it.
All right. So we have those current fonts for guidance.
You're just jealous of my claws.
Nicholson, Orator, and Spinnaker.
And then we need to adjust the kerning on everything.
Shut up. And then full.
Kern this, bub.
Oh my God, George.
I'm so cool.
You're so hungry or something that's making you hyper.
I'm not hungry. I just had pizza.
All right, so we have find final fonts for the game, require style approval. We need a title font, a headline font, body font, multiple faces. Current fonts for the guidance are the Nicholson Gothic, Orator, and Spinnaker, and then we need to do a full consistency pass.
Oh, it's
Correct?
really hard to type with claws.
Yep.
Correct?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Oh no. 8.
5 and 8 and 8 and 8.
Go to 8.
I can go to 8.
I'm just posting this. I'm just posting this link here, just so you have it.
Thanks, Ben.
It's the guy who made it.
Nice.
Okay, so 1, 2.
And then as an ish visitor, this is a 1. I'm not even going to size that. That is a 1.
Yeah.
It's less than a 1.
I estimate 3.
Okay.
The very
there's times less update. So I actually already have sort of a system in for this. It's manual. Basically, there is a type of news post which is called build. And so when we post a new build, we do a news story about it, and that timer will reset. So this is already done.
Done. Great.
I'm just gonna kill it. Archive, delete, because I'm a cheaty pants.
Cool.
There we go. Okay, so this leaves us with 91 points in release 4, not including what's rolled over.
We're definitely going to be able to finish.
Sounds doable.
Yeah.
And we are, and will be out through this sprint. So
do we have any other vacations or anything planned?
Wednesday.
Let's look at the board.
And I will be out Friday as well.
You'll be out Wednesday. You'll be out Friday.
Carl, you're only out Wednesday, or you're from Wednesday to something?
Just Wednesday.
Okay, and Brandon is just Friday.
Yep.
And Wednesday.
I'm here for all of it, so unless something weird happens, I'm flying out on Saturday to Greece, so I have all of Sunday to still be.
Did somebody just move release 4?
Yep.
I hope. Okay, good.
No,
I was looking on it to move it, and then it just disappeared. I was like, what the? All right, cool. All right. So let's go back over to the board. So we have release 4, and then we have these, which takes us to 106-ish. All right, Carl, you're prioritizing those in?
Oh, Brandon, make the shows that we need to do this week or this sprint.
Sorry, you're breaking up a little bit. Make the shows that we need to
do this.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Yeah, add those cards.
Yeah, I will.
Hans, will you share your screen? Because it's really hard to alt tab with claws.
Got it.
First world problems.
Wolverine, the world's worst stenographer. He gets angry while typing in the claws.
Come out and destroy keyboards. It's just a pile of keyboards off to the side.
All right. So the 2 shows that you add, those are 3 each. Is that right, or 5 each?
The shows they should be 3s.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and then one of them. I mean, we don't actually have to do all of these. This is almost like 3 out of 4, but we need to figure out which ones we want to do.
Okay.
In an ideal world, we'll do them all, but yeah, we're busy.
It's actually easy to click like this.
Okay. Cool. All right, so we have 119 points right now, which if we were fully staffed, I would say we're pushing it, but we might be able to move there. I'm not a huge fan of just going for it and having things fall over, but that's what I did this last sprint. So
let's
I should not
do
be
it.
the judge.
I mean, I don't think we're getting this all done, but I feel like it's prioritized.
Yeah.
And we can just work. I mean,
so as long as we move from top to bottom, then yeah, we're good.
So I have a question then for the team. So personally, it doesn't bother me when there's a lot in to do or whatever we want to call it, whatever that column is, the big one, backlog, right? It doesn't bother me, but one thing that I'll say is sometimes when I see a lot of it, I do get a somewhat overwhelmed feeling that can sometimes be a little bit paralyzing. So it might be worth it just to go through and say, let's just push this out. But what about you guys?
So for me, I personally, I feel like we don't learn anything about what we can do if we just say, yeah, we know this is the next chunk of work and let's just go for it. I don't feel like we do a good job of actually understanding what we can do in a period of time. That being said, we are on a crash course to a specific date. It's kind of different than doing.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of okay with it.
What do you guys feel? Carl, Anthony, Brandon?
I don't care. Like, I don't have any issue with the list being long. Like, I don't have any. I have zero feelings for it being long or short. Like, it just is.
Yeah, and I mean, like, for my only thing is, I think it being long is kind of whatever. It can get overwhelming if you're like digging through it all the time. But hopefully, what you're doing is you have something in doing that you're working on, and then you maybe have one other thing that you pull off the top, right? Like, and as long as you work from the top of the list, you're fine. And I think that's the big thing that I would want to say is we should just be trying to focus fire things down as much as possible, right? And obviously, with our new system of captaining and we have names on multiple things, it's not as clean, but hopefully what we have in doing is the stuff we're focus firing down. And if we're not working on it actively, we should just move it back into the backlog. And just be pulling stuff in and crossing stuff off the list. And we should just be like, anytime we're in this kind of ship mode, that should be our mantra is, what can we finish and finish it?
Well, and that's the question. Are we actually going to be right now working on trying to understand as a team what we can get done in a period of time? Because if that's not the case, then I think we've got it prioritized and we grab and go and do the best we can. But I think we need to be realistic about that fact up front.
Yeah, I don't think we're in a learning period. I think we're in a oh god period.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right, then I think we just commit to it and go.
Yeah, we're in effectively a ship cycle, and so I think we just grab and go.
Okay. All right. So this afternoon, then we're coming up on lunch. We definitely need to take a break. I think then, do we want to go through and have people? Let's see. Let's make sure that we get champions assigned, and then people on their own time can go in and add their interest to cards. And then this afternoon, we all work on our acceptance criteria.
Can we just go through real quick right now?
Yeah, let's do the champions right now.
I forcibly added Carl and Brandon to the faction card.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's more right now.
I don't care if you're interested or not. You're going to be part of it.
Yeah, it's more important to determine captain right now.
Yep.
Yeah,
Carl,
if there's a... Go ahead.
I was going to start doing it. So if you have something definitional, go for it.
I was saying if there's something that more than one person wants to captain, it seems like that's fine for now. Just put your name on everything that you want to captain. And if we have 2 people, then we'll like figure out who actually captains afterwards.
I'll captain this.
Because there's cards that I'm putting my face on, but I don't want to captain it.
I'll captain that one.
Sorry, we were expressing captain how again?
Label.
By label.
Oh, that's right. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, because like I got a couple of things from last sprint that I'm still pulling over captaining, so I'm going to be light on the captain level this sprint, I think.
Oh, wait. Oh, shit. There are other people in pink.
I'll give feedback on that.
I mean, you're going to do more than give feedback, probably.
Nobody can hear you, Carl.
Same.
I could hear him. But now I can't.
What did he say? What
Yeah,
did
what
he
did
say?
he say?
I
I
have no...
heard one thing.
Here's what I heard.
I'm
what I
going to give more than feedback on a card that I just assigned myself to. Not, which is true because I'll have to hobble through trying to implement materials and shaders and crap.
Oh, wait.
Actually, I'll put myself on that as implementation.
Oh.
Oh, what?
I need to move some cards over. I made a mistake.
Hans, may I please add you to in the doing column to the clear indication of ships who aren't doing anything, so I can assign them tasks?
Yep.
Because I don't mind doing it, but I would like to work with you on the art thing just to make sure I'm picking the right stuff. I'm happy to actually implement the art for it. It's fine.
Yep, that'd be awesome. We can double team.
Mm-hmm. Okay, does anything not have a captain? Metrics on players playing our game doesn't.
Yep.
And player able to submit bugs and know the status doesn't. And
I naturally would take both of those, but I'm already looking at how many cards my name are on.
I don't realistically feel like I'm gonna get time to get to the metrics thing.
Yeah, do we want to move the as a player? I want to be able to submit bugs and know the status out of the sprint. And the reason I say that, not just because the sprint is overloaded, but if we're only going to be getting people that we know and trust a lot, then they're kind of going to hit us up anyway. Like I would expect that we're going to talk to them, so we don't really need an official way to do it yet.
I'm going to just change it to I want to be able to know the status in MVP. We need to have some clear method for them. I'm just going to say add in MVP. So like, what's the minimum way? There is
in MVP.
Yeah.
Are we getting? Yeah, we are going to get there, aren't we? Wow.
Yeah. I'm just not even in MVP, just MVP. So like, literally, here is where, so they know where to submit bugs when they, even if it's
I will captain that one too. This is stupid.
Yeah, no. Let me take that one, George. Just because
it's okay.
I already have to do the other card, which is all the.
Well, I'll put you on it, and I'll make you do the work, but I'll still be the captain.
Okay, sure. Who is going to be my Huckleberry on the client side for metrics? Because Will is not here.
Okay, I'll do it.
I mean, I can be there. I just have a hard time saying that either one of us as engineers are going to have time to actually do that implementation part, unfortunately.
So why is it in the sprint?
Good question. I mean, where's it at in the list of how many engineering things are above it? A lot.
I mean, there's a lot to do. It's important. It's a thing that the earlier we have it, the better our lives will be. Because once the framework is in there, then it's much easier to add it. And there's a 21-point engineering task in release 5 already.
Yep.
So,
which
Brandon,
one's more important? Is metrics more important than the gameplay?
no, but it's more important than serialization.
Okay.
Serialization isn't in here, is it?
No,
it's in
the next release.
In release 5.
Oops.
I mean, I think it's in the right place priority-wise, on the ordered list, right? Like, I'm not rethinking where it's at, but like, this is one of those things where the earlier we get it in, the better our lives are, and anytime we've had players, or we have put metrics in or not put metrics in, I feel like has been a time where I'm like, man, we should have gotten this in. So
let's do a quick conversation about what the requirements are from the client side. There's a bunch of heavy lifting on the server side. That's fine. On the client side, we're basically talking about putting in the initial metrics framework, which allows for HTTPS submission of client data. It is initiating probably 2 or 3 hooks, one hook of game launch, one hook of game complete, and one piece of game complete with maybe extended data of win-loss.
Do you know if we could just pull over the analytics from
I would imagine
Hermit Crab?
Yes, my guess would be that the things that Will wrote about submission can just be pulled over. There will probably be some integration shit that has to be done, but the base framework can probably just be pulled over. And then it's just instrumenting the game with a few initial calls that we can then populate on the server side to show this is how many games were played in the last 24 hours. So game launch, it fires. Game end, it fires. And
with that case, then I bet if it's just as simple as that, then ideally get a game. I'm looking at his framework right now.
Yeah.
And if I can see if it would just, we wouldn't have idle timer stuff anymore. We'd have start and analytics begin game.
Yeah.
And the analytics in game.
Yep.
Uploads there. Create. We'd have to refactor what the JSON looks like that it's sending.
Yeah.
Sure. Put me on it. We'll see if I can work on that, I think. At least in a
and again, like I think this is literally like we try and do as little as possible to just literally get messages being passed from the game to a server.
Yeah. All right.
I'll build out the server side. You just be able to get to a call in.
Just pull that in. We'll see if I can pull those CPP file, the C++ files across, and then ideally we'll just do it.
Trim.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'll take champion on it. Cry, sour tears, and then.
Ooh, sour and salty go really good together.
That's right. At least it's not umami tears. Any others that don't have champions? Okay, no. All right, cool. Any that have doubles? No. Okay, I think we're good.
Holy crap.
Epic.
I don't know. We crazy.
Let's do it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it.
So then for post lunch, do we have any meetings today post lunch?
I think just the meetings that the champions have with people on their cards.
Okay. Well,
Which
we
don't
kind of
have
went
to be immediately today.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we can just plan those whenever. But there's nothing that's full team wide after.
Nothing formal.
As far as I can tell, no.
Okay.
This afternoon.
Then I would like to recommend one meeting that we do because of the conversation that Ant and I were having this morning, which could dramatically change how we're like. That's a big conversation because it's also like what I would immediately going to work on today to continue
Impromptu
to work
design
on.
time.
Yeah, so I think maybe after lunch, how about around, or even if you're willing to, like just taking 10 minutes now to talk about it would be good because I'm not going to lunch and I'm going to work. So whoever wants to stick around to talk about that real quick, we can. And then Hans, if you want to hit me up when you have time later today after lunch, whenever, we can knock out those last two tasks that we're paired on that are in doing already.
Cool, that'd be awesome.
Okay, great. So it's the end of this meeting.
Yeah, we should end stream as well.
Kill
Yeah,
stream,
okay.
kill stream,
Bye,
kill
stream.
stream.
Thanks everyone.
stream.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.
Have a good day.